Guys, we will be continuing our reading on Wonder. Today we are reading 249 to 264. So let's enjoy. Part 8. August. You're gonna reach the sky. Fly, beautiful child. Eurythmics, beautiful child. The 5th grade nature retreat. Every year in spring, the 5th graders of Breacher Prep go away for 3 days and 2 nights to a place called Boardwood Nature Reserve in Pennsylvania. It's a 4-hour bus drive away. The kids sleep in cabins with bunk beds. There are campfires and s'mores with long walks through the woods. The teachers have been prepping us about this all year long. So all the kids in the grade are excited about it, except for me. And it's not even that I'm not excited, because I kind of am. I just never slept away from home before, and I'm kind of nervous. Most kids have had sleepovers by the time they're my age. Lots of kids have gone to sleepaway camp or stayed with their grandparents or whatever. Not me. Not unless you include hospital stays. But even then, Mom and Dad always stayed with me overnight. But I've never slept alone at Tata or Papa's house or Aunt Kate or Uncle Poe. When I was really little, that was mainly because there were too many medical issues, like my trach tube needing to be cleaned every hour or reinserting my feeding tube if it got detached. But when I got bigger, I just never felt like sleeping anywhere else. There was this one time when I half slept over at Christopher's house. We were about 8, and we were still best friends. Our family had gone to visit his house, and me and Christopher were having such a great time playing Lego Star Wars that I didn't want to leave when it was time to go. We were like, please, can we have a sleepover? So our parents said yes, and Mom and Dad and Via drove home. And me and Christopher stayed up all midnight playing. And Lisa, his mom, said, okay guys, it's time to go to bed. Well, that's when I had a panic, when I kind of panicked a bit. Lisa tried to help me go to sleep, but I just started crying that I wanted to go home. So at 1 a.m., Lisa called Mom and Dad drove all the way back to Bridgeport to pick me up. We didn't get home until 3 a.m. So my one and only sleepover up until now was pretty much a disaster, which is why I'm a little nervous about the nature retreat. On the other hand, I'm really excited. Known for. I asked Mom to buy me a new rolling duffel bag because my old one had Star Wars stuff all on it, and there was no way I was going to take that to the 5th grade nature retreat. As much as I love Star Wars, I don't want that to be what I'm known for. Everyone's known for something in middle school. Like Rita's known for really being into marine life and the ocean and things like that. And Amos is known for being a really good baseball player. And Charlotte's known for having been on a TV commercial when she was 6. And I can't wait for the movie so I can learn how to say her name. Eczema is known for being really smart. My point is, in middle school, you kind of get known for what you're into, and you have to be careful about stuff like that. Like Max G and Max W will never live down their Dungeons and Dragons obsession. So I actually try to ease out of the whole Star Wars thing a bit. I mean, it'll always be special to me, like it is with the doctor who put it on my hearing aids. It's just not the thing I wanted to be known for in middle school. I'm not sure what I want to be known for, but it's not that. That's not exactly true. I do know what I'm really known for, but there's nothing I can do about that. A Star Wars duffel bag, I could do something about that. Packing. Mom helped me pack the night before the trip. We all put our clothes, we all put in, we put all the clothes I was taking on my bed and she folded everything neatly and put it inside the bag while I watched. It was a plain blue rolling duffel bag, by the way. No logos, no artwork. What if I can't sleep at night? I asked. Take a book with you. Then, if you can't sleep, you can pull out your flashlight and read a bit until you get sleepy, she answered. I nodded. What if I get a nightmare? Your teachers will be there, sweetie, she said, and Jack and your friends. Can I bring Baboo? I said. That's my favorite stuffed animal when I was little. An all black bear with soft nose. You don't really sleep with him anymore, do you? Said Mom. No, but I could keep him in my closet in case. But I keep him in my closet in case I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep. I said. I could hide him in my bag. No one would know. Then let's do that. Mom nodded, getting Baboo from inside my closet. I wish they allowed cell phones, I said. I know, me too, she said. Though I know you're going to have a great time, Augie. You sure you want to pack Baboo? Yeah, but way down, where no one can see him, I said. She stuck Baboo deep inside the bag and then stuffed the last of my shirts on top of him. So many clothes for just 2 days? 3 days and 2 nights, I corrected her. Yep, she nodded, smiling. 3 days and 2 nights. She zipped up the duffel bag and picked it up. Not too heavy. Try it. I picked up the duffel bag. Fine, I shrugged. She sat on the bed. Hey, what happened to your Empire Strikes Back poster? Oh, I took that down ages ago, I answered. She shook her head. Huh? I didn't even notice that before. I'm trying to, change my image a bit, I explained. Okay, she smiled, nodding like she understood. Anyway, honey, you have to promise me you won't forget to put on your bug spray, okay? On your legs, especially when you're hiking through the woods. It's right there in the front compartment. Uh-huh. And put on your sunscreen, she said. You don't want to get sunburned. And I repeat, don't forget to take your hearing aids off when you go swimming. Would I get electrocuted? No, but you'd be in real hot water with Daddy because those things cost a fortune, she said. She laughed. I put my rain poncho in the front compartment too. Same thing goes for rain. I put the rain poncho in front of the front compartment too. Same thing if it rains, Augie, okay? Make sure you cover your hearing aids with a hood. Aye, aye, sir, I said, saluting. She smiled and pulled me over. I can't believe how much you've grown up this year, Augie, she said softly, putting her hands on the side of my face. Do I look taller? Definitely, she nodded. I'm still the shortest one in my grade. I'm not even really talking about your height, she said. I suppose I hate it there. You're going to do great, Augie. I nodded. She got up and gave me a quick kiss on the forehead. Okay, so I say, we get to bed now. It's only 9 o'clock, Mom. Your bus leaves at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You don't want to be late. Come on, chop chop. Your teeth are brushed? I nodded and I climbed into bed. She started to lay down next to me. You don't need to put me to bed tonight, Mom. I'll read on my own until I get sleepy. Really? She nodded, impressed. She squeezed my hand and gave it a kiss. Okay, then. Good night. I love you. Sweet dreams. You too. She turned on the little reading light beside my bed. I'll write you letters, I said, when she was leaving, even though I'll probably be home before you get them. Then we'll read them together, she said. We threw a kiss, and threw me a kiss. When she left my room, I took a copy of The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe off the night table and started reading it until I fell asleep. Though the witch knew the deep magic, there was a magic deeper still, which she did not know. Her knowledge goes back only to dawn of time, but if she could have looked further back into the stillness of the darkness before the time dawned, she would have read a different incantation. Daybreak. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get water. The next day, I woke up really early. It was still dark inside. My room was even darker outside, though I thought it would be morning soon. I turned over on my side and didn't feel at all sleepy. That's when I saw Daisy sitting on my bed. I mean, I knew it wasn't Daisy, but for a second I saw a shadow that looked like her. I didn't think it was a dream then, but now looking back, I know it must have been. It didn't make me sad to see her at all. It just filled me up with nice feelings inside. She was gone after a second, and I couldn't see her again in the darkness. My room slowly started lightening. I reached for my hearing aid headband, put it on, and now the world was really awake. I could hear the garbage trucks clunking down the street and the birds in our backyard. And down the hallway I hear Mom's alarm beeping. Daisy's ghost made me feel super strong inside, knowing wherever I am, she'd be there with me. I got out of bed and I went to my desk and wrote a little note to Mom. Then I went to the living room where my backpack was by the door. I opened it up and fished inside and found what I was looking for. I took Baboo back to my room. I laid him on my bed and taped a little note to Mom on his chest. Then I covered it with my blanket so Mom would find him later. The note read, "Dear Mom, I won't need Baboo, but if you miss me, you can cuddle with him yourself. XO Augie." Day 1. The bus ride went really fast. I sat by the window and Jack was next to me in the aisle seat. Summer and Maya were in front of us. Everyone was in a good mood. Kind of loud, laughing a lot. I noticed right away that Julian wasn't on our bus, even though Henry and Miles were. I figured he must gotten on the other bus. But then I overheard Miles tell Amos that Julian ditched the grade trip because he thought the whole nature retreat thing was quote unquote dorky. I totally got pumped because dealing with Julian for 3 days in a row and 2 nights was the major reason I was nervous about the whole trip. So without him there, I could just relax and not worry about anything. We got to the nature reserve at around noon. The first thing we did was put our stuff down in our cabin. There were 3 bunk beds in every room. So me and Jack did rock, paper, scissors for the top bunk. I won. Woohoo! And the other guys in the room were Reed and Tristan and Pablo and Nino. After we had lunch in the main cabin, we all went on the 2-hour guided nature hike through the woods. But these were not woods like the kind they have in Central Park. These were real wood. Giant trees that almost totally blocked out the sunlight. Tangles of leaves and falling tree trunks, howls and chirps and really loud bird calls. There was a slight fog too, like a pale blue smoke around us all. So cool. The nature guide pointed everything out to us. The different types of trees we were passing, the insects inside the dead logs on the trail, the signs, the deers, the bears, the woods, that what types of birds were whistling. And from the look of them, I realized that my low boat hearing aids actually made me hear better than most people because I usually was the first person to hear a new bird call. It started to rain. As we headed back to camp, I pulled my rain poncho and pulled the hood over and pulled my hood up so my hearing aid wouldn't get wet. But my jeans and my shoes were soaked by the time we reached our cabin. Everyone was soaked. It was so much fun though. We had wet sock fight in the cabin. That's gross. Since it rained for the rest of the day, we spent most of the afternoon goofing off in the rec room. We had a ping pong table and old style acre games like Pac-Man and Missile Command that we played until dinner time. Luckily, by then, it had stopped raining. So we got to have a real campfire cookout. The log benches around the campfire were still a little damp, but we threw our jackets over them and hung out by the fire, toasting s'mores and eating the best roasted hot dogs I've ever tasted. My mom was right about mosquitoes. There were tons of them, but luckily I had spritzed myself before I left the cabin. I wasn't eaten alive like some of the other kids were. I love hanging out by the campfire after dark. I love the way bits of fire dust would float up and disappear into the night air and how the fire lit up people's faces. I love the sound the fire made too, and how the woods were so dark that you couldn't see anything around you, and you'd look up and see billion stars in the sky. The sky doesn't look like that in North River Heights. I've seen it look like that in Montauk though. Like someone sprinkled salt on a shiny black table. I was so tired when I got back to the cabin, I didn't need to pull out a book to read. I fell asleep almost fast as my head hit the pillow. And maybe I dreamt about the stars. I don't know. The fairgrounds. The next day was just as great as the first. We went horseback riding in the morning, and in the afternoon we rappelled up some ginormous trees with the help of our nature guides. By the time we got back to the cabins for dinner, we were really tired again. After dinner, they told us we had an hour to rest, and then we were going to take a 15-minute bus ride to the fairgrounds for an outdoor movie night. I hadn't had the chance to write a letter to Mom and Dad and Via yet, so I wrote them one, telling them all about the stuff we did the day before. I pictured myself reading it to them out loud when I got back, since there was just no way the letter would get to them before I did. When I got to the fairgrounds, the sun was starting to set. It was about 7:30. The shadows were really long on the grass, and the clouds were pink and orange. It looked like someone had taken the sidewalk chalk and smudged the colors across the sky with their fingers. It's not that I haven't seen sunsets before in the city, because I have. Slivers of sunsets between the buildings. But I wasn't used to seeing so much sky in every direction. Out here in the fairgrounds, I could understand why ancient people used to think that the world was flat and the sky was a dome that closed on the top of it. That's what it looked like from the fairgrounds in the middle of this huge open field, because we were the first the first school to arrive, and we got to run around the field all we wanted until the teachers told us it was time to lay our sleeping bags on the ground and get good viewing seats. We unzipped our bags and lay down like picnic blankets on the grass in front of the giant movie screen in the middle of the field. Then we went to the row of food trucks parked on the edge of the field to load up on snacks and sodas and stuff like that. There was a concession stands there too, like at the farmer's market selling roasted peanuts, cotton candy, up a little further with a short row of carnival tape stall and kind where you can win stuffed animals if you throw a basketball into the basket. Jack and I both tried and failed to win anything, but we heard Amos won a yellow hippo and gave it to Zaima. That was the big gossip that went around. The jock and the brainiac. From the food trucks, you could see the corn stalks in the back of the movie screen. They covered about a third of the entire field. The rest of the field was completely surrounded by woods. As the sun sank lower into the sky, the tall trees at the entrance into the woods looked dark blue. By the time the other school buses pulled up into the parking lot, we were back in our spots on our sleeping bag, right smack in front of the screen. The best seats in the whole field. Everyone was passing around snacks, having a great time. Me, Jack, and Summer, and Reed and Maya played Pictionary. We would hear the sounds of the schools arriving, the loud laughing, the talking kids coming out of the field on both sides of us, but we couldn't really see them. Though the sky was still light, the sun had gone down completely. This and everything on the ground had turned deep purple. The clouds were shadows now. We had trouble even seeing the Pictionary cards in front of us. Just then, without any announcements, the lights at the ends of the fields went on at once. They were like big, bright stadium lights. I thought the scene in Close Encounters when the alien ship lands and they're playing the music, da da do da da. Everyone in the field started applauding and cheering, like something great had happened. Be kind to nature. An announcement came over the huge speakers next to the stadium lights. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the 23rd annual Big Movie Night at Borewood Nature Reserve. Welcome teachers and students from MS 342. The William Heath School. A big chair went up on the left side of the field. Welcome teachers and students from Glover Academy. Another cheer went up, this time on the right side of the field. And welcome the teachers and students of Breacher Prep. The whole crowd cheered as loudly as we could. We were thrilled to have you as our guest tonight. We are thrilled that the weather is cooperating. In fact, can you believe what a beautiful night it is? Again, everyone whooping and hollering. So as we prepare the movie, we do ask that you take a few minutes to listen to this very important announcement. The Borewood Nature Reserve, as you know, is dedicated to preserving our nature resources and environment. We ask that you leave no litter behind. Clean up after yourselves. Be kind to nature and it'll be kind to you. We ask that you keep that in mind as you walk around the grounds. Do not venture beyond the orange cones at the end of the fairgrounds. Do not go into the cornfields or woods. Please keep the free roaming to a minimum. Even if you don't feel like watching a movie, your fellow students may feel otherwise, so please be courteous. No talking, no playing music, no running. The restrooms are located on the other side of the concession stands. After the movie is over, it will be quite dark. So we ask that you stay with your schools as you make your way back to your buses. Teachers, there's usually at least one lost party on big movie nights as Borewood. Don't let it happen to you. Tonight's movie's presentation will be The Sound of Music. I immediately started clapping even though I've seen it a few times before because it's Via's favorite movie of all time. But I was surprised that a whole bunch of kids, not from Breacher, booed and hissed and laughed. Someone from the right of the field threw a soda can at the screen, which seemed to surprise Mr. Tushman. I saw him stand up and look in the direction of the can, look in the direction of the thrower, though I knew he couldn't see anything in the dark. The movie started playing right away. The stadium lights dimmed. Maria the nun was standing at the top of the mountain, twirling around and around. It had gotten chilly all of a sudden. So I put my yellow Montauk hoodie and adjusted the volume of my hearing aids and leaning against my backpack and started watching. I'm not going to sing. The hills are alive. Because it's a song. It started singing in the beginning. The woods are alive. Somewhere around the boring part where the guy named Ralph, the oldest daughter are singing, "You're 16, going on 17, Jack nudged me. Dude, I've got to pee, he said. We both got up and kind of hopscotched over kids who were sitting or laying down on the sleeping bag. Summer waved as we passed. I waved back. There were lots of kids from the other school walking around by the food trucks playing carnival games or just hanging out. Of course, there was a huge line for the toilet. Forget this. I'll find a tree, said Jack. That's gross, Jack. Let's just wait, I answered. He headed off through the trees at the edge of the field, which was past the orange cones that we were specifically told not to go past. And of course, I followed him. And of course, we didn't have our flashlights because we forgot to bring them. It was so dark that we literally couldn't see 10 steps in front of us. As we walked towards the woods, luckily the movie gave off sunlight, so we saw a flashlight coming towards us out of the woods. We immediately knew it was Henry and Miles and Amos. I guess they hadn't wanted to wait on the line to use the toilet either. Henry and Miles were still not talking to Jack, but Amos let go of the war a while ago, and he nodded hello to us as they passed by. Be careful of bears, shouted Henry, and he and Miles laughed as they walked away. Amos shook his head at us like, don't pay attention to them. Jack and I walked a little further until we were just inside the woods. Then Jack hunted around for the perfect tree and finally did his business, though it felt like he was taking forever. The woods were loud, with strange sounds and chirping and croaks, like a wall of noise coming out of the trees. Then started hearing loud snaps not far from us, almost like cap gun pops, that definitely weren't insect noises, and far away in another world. We could hear raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens. Ah, that's much better, said Jack, zipping up. Now I have to pee, I said, which I did on the nearest tree. No way was I going further in like Jack did. Do you smell that? Like firecrackers, he said, coming over to me. Oh yeah, that's what it is, I whispered, zipping up. Weird. Let's go. Okay, guys, we're going to stop there. And remember to head over to the discussion post and answer the question. And I'll see you in class. Bye.